Remember now, when we tape an ankle, tender spot. So those areas will have heel and lace pads to help reduce the friction, okay? And when we apply the tape, what we want to do is we want to make sure that we come down past this tender spot on the back to this little bump on the back called the point of the heel. When we apply the underwrap, okay, you start here on top of the foot and hold it in place. Look, that's our figure 8. We're going to do that with tape when we're taping the ankle. And so we've got a lot of this underwrap locked in place. We're going to do a heel lock. We're going to do a heel lock, okay? Now, so we've basically covered the bottom of the foot. You see there's a little skin here by the ankle. There's a little on the outside by the ankle. And just because I'm a compassionate individual, I'll go around the heel to cover that up. And then just go around the leg. Here's the muscle starting here. So that's where I'm going to stop, at the base of the muscle with my underwrap. Okay? See how we applied the underwrap and there's not a lot of gaps or not a lot of rolling up of the underwrap. And if you watch as I put it on, I stay pretty close to the roll of underwrap. So the closer you stay to the roll of the underwrap, the easier it is to make it go on nice and smoothly. And you can apply a little bit of pressure to keep it stretched, and that helps keep it adhering to the contour of the leg. Now when we tape the ankle, we start with anchor strips. At the top, we're going to angle down from front to back. And again, we're close to the roll of tape and make sure it stays nice and smooth. Okay, now, this is going to be, I'm going to put this on at the wrong angle just so I can show you. If we start at this angle, or start down a little over here, start at this angle, which is the wrong angle, I still want to stay applied to the contour of the leg. And look, it comes up here, doesn't make a nice, well, it's on the wrong side of the ankle for you, but it doesn't make a nice cross here like our anchor strips do. But it's more important that we keep the tape smooth than it is to force the tape, which I could have done, force the tape to come down here. Because now, you see we're starting to get gaps in the tape. We're starting to get wrinkles in the tape. And so that's just going to multiply as we continue to tape the ankle. So I'm going to leave this anchor strip on even though it's at the wrong angle. And we'll leave it on. Now after we do a couple anchor strips, we start on the inside of the ankle. We will go down over the medial malleolus, and we want the tape to cross half over the fat pad and half through the arch with a little upward pressure. And we want it to stay nice and taut. The reason we do that is every time we can encourage the ankle not to invert, we're going to do that. We're going to apply 3 anchor strips in our practice taping here. We're going to overlap by about half at the top, but we're going to cross under the foot at the same spot. And when we pull the tape up on the outside, keeping it smooth, we end up fanning toward the front, just like we did on the inside. Now we overlap by about half, again on the back, cross at the same spot, and pull out with the 3rd anchor strip. Now we're going to do horseshoes or fill down, again angling down from front to back. And as we move down the ankle, toward the ankle, we see that the tape starts to flatten out. We lose our angle a little bit to keep it smooth. And when we get to where the foot turns out, we stop crossing over with the tape. So now we're going to start on the inside. We're going to keep the tape smooth, and we're going to tear off on the outside. And you see we're going to stop with this horseshoe or this fill strip before it touches in the front. Start again here. I'm standing on the outside of the ankle, taping so at the bottom here so everybody can see. I'm pretty sure I'm doing what I need to do. And as I come down, look what's happened to the tape. Remember we start up here angling down from front to back? Look at this strip. It's angling up from front to back. It's lower in the front than it is in the back. Why? Because the contour of the lower leg and the foot and ankle has changed. Now I want to come down and make sure I cover the point of the heel. Looks to me like, feels like I'm right on the point of the heel right now. So what I'm going to do, just to be on the safe side, is I'm going to take another strip, another horseshoe, come down just a little bit on my last horseshoe to make sure I'm past the point of the heel. Now, after I fill down with the horseshoes, I fill out with the arch strips. So I start on the medial malleolus, come down through the arch, keep the tape nice and smooth on the foot, and as I've mentioned, this will end up being exactly like the first strip of our figure 8. I want to cover the loose ends of the tape, and when I do that, I should end up with a nice circle down here with the tape on the bottom of the foot, which I've done. Okay, so I've filled down with horseshoes, I filled out with arch strips. The other thing to remember when you're doing this is the further out you go with the tape, remember when you surround the foot, you keep the toes from being able to spread. So you want to keep that back to allow the toes to spread once you put the pressure on the foot. Fill down, fill out, now go back. Remember, the first arch strip was the bottom half of our figure 8. So I'm going to do the same thing over again. Instead of tearing the tape, I'm going to let it travel around the lower leg, and then I'm going to tear it off. So we call this is kind of a convoluted figure 8. I said, here's part of the tape, and here's part of the tape. So I have two circles, but instead of being on top of each other like a figure 8, it's like the top half of the figure 8 has been knocked down. We do the heel locks. We start on the top, and we'll come down above the heel, circle around under the foot, back up on top where we started from. So we're ending up, you see, here's the first strip of the heel lock, and here's the second part of the heel lock. So we end up with two strips of tape pointing in the same direction. Do on the other side, we're going to angle down above the heel, circle around, up under the arch, through the arch, back up on top, and you see that we have strip of tape of heel lock going here, strip of tape of heel lock going here, going in the same direction. Now we're finished with the taping. This is dressing, just to make it look better instead of having all these loose ends. That's why we put the figure 8 on to cover up the loose ends on the bottom part of the taping. So I've just developed a habit of, I've got loose ends up here, so I'm going to cover them up so they're not showing and looking so bad. And that's it. Okay? Anchors, stirrup, horseshoes, arch strips, figure 8, heel locks, little dressing just because it tastes good. Dressing tastes good.
Let me get a close-up of your...
Okay, any questions?